Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal and welcome to the match reaction for Arsenal nil, Liverpool 2. Yeah, the fairy tale we kind of not expected, just imagine would happen. Did not happen. Unfortunately, we ended up losing the game as most of you would have expected, as most of everyone else would have expected. But I don't think there's anything to be sad about from that game. I don't think there's anything to overreact to from that game at all. I do not think we should be overreacting. We should just do whatever tactical has said in the chat. Move to the next game. We go on to focus on Villa. Forget about losing to Liverpool. Liverpool will probably smash Man United by 5-0 again. They'll probably beat everyone else until the end of the season. So that game, I usually don't look much into it. I'm pretty happy with the first half performance. The second half did not go as much as I expected, I'd say, because the first half was really good. Second half, terrible. The only concern I have from today's game is the fact that we've now gone 4 games in an entire season without scoring against Liverpool. That is the only concern, because we traveled to their place, we didn't score. They came to our place, we didn't score. We played them twice in the Carabao Cup without their best players, and we didn't score. That's the only concern. We didn't score against Liverpool. But apart from that, I think the first half we did quite well. I think the second half, obviously, you expect the quality to show. They had a lot of players to bring from the bench, the Salahs, the Firminos, and everything. Jota always scores against us. Mane always scores against us. Firmino always scores against us. Salah always scores against us. So I really don't care about that game a lot now. That Liverpool game, yes, it's done. But that Aston Villa game coming up over the weekend, now that becomes very, very important. So we have to try and win that one. You definitely have to try and win that one. But first off, by the way, I hope you can hear me. Yeah, I think you can hear me. So first up, let's take a look at how the lineups looked today. I think many of us expected that kind of lineup, the same lineup. The lineup has been doing so well, so I don't think you expected any changes from that at all. So in goal, obviously, Ramsdale played in goal, not one of his best performances at all. In fact, I think shocking for a bit of it. Gabriel, Ben White at the back, Cedric Tierney as the fullbacks as usual. Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard, Martinelli, Lacazette, Saka. As I always say in the predicted lineups, I don't think that will change at all until the end of the season. I think Xhaka and Partey, as long as they're fit and as long as they're not suspended, they'll definitely play every single game. Gabriel and White, as long as they're fit, I think they'll play every single game. And then Holding might be chipping in whenever we need to win and whenever we're like 2-1 ahead with 10 minutes to go. That's when you'll be seeing Holding and maybe Tavares. I don't expect Ramsdale to be dropped. I expect him to play every single game. I know people usually say start Pepe instead of Lacazette, start Martinelli up front instead of Lacazette, but I think Lacazette will always play until the end of the season. So I don't think we'll be seeing any changes from this lineup at all. Next, against Aston Villa, I expect the same lineup. The only change you could see, maybe Smith Rowe starting. That's the only thing you could see. And then after the international break, 2 weeks rest for every player. We come again, we play against Crystal Palace, against Brighton. I expect the same lineup. I don't expect anything to change at all. So on the bench, Leno, Tavares, Holding, Lokonga, El Neni, Smith Rowe, Pepe, Nketiah, and Swanson. Again, the bench, I don't expect it to change at all anyway. So that was the Arsenal lineup. The only thing I would have done at Anfield was play a back 5. But for today's game, like everything was going so well for us, Salah wasn't even expected to start. So I don't think there's any need of playing a back 5. My reason for playing a back 5 against Liverpool at Anfield, and if Salah started, was because of Salah. Salah and Trent on that wing are usually very dangerous. But apart from that, I don't see why we should be playing a back 5. So I was okay with that lineup as usual. Definitely okay with that. Next up, let's go to Liverpool's lineup. Liverpool's lineup looked like this. Obviously, Alisson in goal, a back 4 of Robertson, Van Dijk, Matip, Trent, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, Diaz, Jota, and Mane. Now, the thing with Liverpool, yes, we are a bit happy when Salah doesn't play or Mane doesn't play, but whoever is coming from the bench is always so good. And they added to that with Diaz in January, so it's always very hard. Callagher, Konate, Gomez, Keita, Jones, Salah, Chamberlain, Firmino, and Minamino on the bench. As you can see, I think their bench is definitely stronger than ours for sure. Salah, Firmino, all those first team players playing on the bench coming in the second half. I mean, they obviously had the edge over us. The only way you could have gotten a result from that game is if we scored in the first half. That is the only way you could have gotten something from that game. Scoring in the first half and scoring the first goal. That's the only thing we would have gotten anything. But as long as the game was still 0-0, we were definitely giving. And when it got to around the 55th minute, I still imagined we'd score a goal, but I was saying if Liverpool win, they'd win 1-0. I knew they're definitely like going to get a goal and probably just defend. And they had 3 shots on target the whole day. So Let me see what you guys are saying. Tactical says that atmosphere of the Emirates was superb tonight. Love to see how much our fans are connected to the team. Yeah, love to see that as for sure. I still think there's more positives to take from that game than negatives. Especially if it's United fans and Tottenham fans bantering us, that's fine. Like I do still think that bantering us after losing to Liverpool is a bit of a reach, trying to be relevant, but because they're going to beat everyone else anyway, so I don't really mind about that. And I think the atmosphere was great as well, and we didn't get battered as we usually get battered against Liverpool and the likes of City this season. So Tiani says Arsenal fans should not be too much disappointed. I have no idea. If someone is disappointed after that, I have no idea why. I literally have no idea why. We are going to get down to that level of Liverpool. You have to win all games with small teams now. Yeah. Now, if we go to Aston Villa and lose again, that's a different story. But losing against Liverpool, especially after that first half performance, very, very good. Put Trent in trouble, put Robertson on trouble the other side as well. I don't think there's anything to be frustrated about. Like Matthew. Matthew says, I'm frustrated, Glenn. No reason at all. I'd like to know the reason why you're frustrated. I'd like to know the reason why you're frustrated, Matthew. Both of the goals, Ramsdale, man, how did he not save that near post? Second goal, the ball wasn't cleared properly, sorry, and it should have been defended better. Overall, though, good performance. Yeah, I was doing my player ratings right now, just writing them down, and I struggled to give anyone below a 5, really. After that performance, I was struggling to. After defeats like against Brentford and City, we were giving players 2s and 1s. I don't think after that game we'd give, like Martinelli, would give him a 9 for today, even after a defeat. Simple as that. Martinelli was on another level. As you say, tactical. We have a Jota Cassia. How many goals has he scored against us? I think he scored against us every single game since he joined Liverpool. I think again when he was at Wolves, he also scored against us. I think Mane has scored like 8 or 7 goals against us. Firmino scored 9 against us. Salah scored like 7. So we never enjoyed playing Liverpool, but hopefully from next season we can enjoy playing against them. But yeah, the way we consider that second goal was terrible. But the first few minutes of that game were terrible as well. The first 5 minutes, they had like 4 corners. They were pressurizing us throughout the first 5 minutes. They were getting corner after corner, and we knew what we were getting ourselves into. But we managed to hold out, and we kept it at 0-0, and we started creating our own chances. We started battling out. Ben White was making some great tackles. Gabriel was making some great tackles. Partey was dominating the midfield in that first half. And Gabriel Martinelli, he was not just attacking. The way he was running back to intercept the ball, he was following Trent Alexander-Arnold, intercepting the ball from him, winning the tackles against him. He definitely has more pace than Martinelli, than Trent Alexander-Arnold. You could see that today for sure. And then the rest of the first half, I think we did well. Obviously, a lot of midfield battles with Partey and Fabinho. I think they had a half chance. I think we had a half chance as well on the left side. Martinelli was so good today. So good. Like, he doesn't deserve to be on the losing side today. Like, he was very, very good. I think if you had to vote for man of the match from that game, I think you'd give Martinelli. But they usually give the team that has won the game. So they probably give a Liverpool player. But after such a game, you probably give him man of the match because he was the best player on the pitch for me. And then the rest of the first half ended just like that. And I was a bit surprised. If you check the stats from that first half, let me show you the stats from the first half. Let me do this. Just above my head. Ball possession, they had 55, we had 45. There's a time we had 85, they had 15. We had 4 shots, they had 3. We had 0 on target. That is obviously a problem. They had 1 on target. We had 2 shots off target. They had 1. We had 2 blocked shots. They had 1. They had more corner kicks than us, obviously. No bookings, no big chances. We kept Liverpool to 0 big chances in the first half. And our goalkeeper only had to make 1 save and almost the same number of passes as well. Accuracy almost the same. In terms of tackles, they were winning more by 1. Interceptions, they won more. Clearances, the same. So the first half was quite okay. The first half, no problem at all. But as always, you would expect Liverpool to up the game in the second half, especially with Salah on the bench and those kind of players. You definitely expect them to up the game. So they did exactly that. In the second half, Gabriel Martinelli made another run in the 48th minute. He was incredible today. He beat like 3 or 4 players on that wing. And the final ball, like, I think he was kind of rushing it. Obviously, when you do all that, you just want to pick up the ball or pick up someone in the box. I didn't really do that, unfortunately, and it was clear, but still very, very good. Getting past 4 or 5 players on that wing, very, very good. And I think after today, Trent will not forget Martinelli. That's the most important thing. At least we know someone came out of that game with their heads held high. And then obviously Odegaard had a shot in the 51st minute. That was the chance. that was our chance to take the lead. Lacazette, I thought he was going to go past the goalkeeper quickly. Alisson and Ederson are one of the best goalkeepers in terms of coming out and just attacking you before you do anything, and you're like messed up, like what am I going to do? They're very quick in coming out. So you've like if it was against like Sanchez from Brighton or like Ospina or who else, any other goalkeeper, like a Ter Stegen from Barcelona, you could probably have scored that one if it wasn't Alisson. Like I said, it would have been able to go around, but Alisson is such a quick thinker, and he had to give the ball back to Odegaard. And unfortunately, it was blocked. Liverpool did put in some really good blocks in that game, I think, from Martinelli, from Saka, from Odegaard as well. And the game remained 0-0. And right then, you could see Klopp trying to tell the likes of Salah get ready. And before even that, we let Jota score. We unfortunately let Jota score, and he has scored so many goals against us. It's so sad. He always scores against us, and as Tactical said in the chat, it's not the kind of goal you want to concede. It was a very poor goal to concede. You never know what would have happened, like if he kept it quiet at that point. And this season, every time we've played Liverpool, there's no time that they've totally like trashed us in the first half. At Anfield, we kept it quiet until the 45th minute when Mane scored. In the first leg of the Carabao Cup match, it ended 0-0. We defended the entire game, and also the game against them at the Emirates. Like obviously Jota scored again, but they were a bit quiet for most of the game as well. So very unfortunate to concede like that. As I said, that is probably one of Ramsdale's poorest performances in an Arsenal shirt. And then Firmino and Salah came on for Diaz and Jota, and at that point, you definitely expected to get even more harder, and it did. And Firmino scored the goal. That is his 9th goal against us. Now, again, I don't know if Ramsdale could have done better. Probably could have done better with that one, but it was a very good cross from Robert, so maybe the defense a bit asleep. And after that, definitely game over. After you concede 2 goals against Liverpool, it's game over. I think they haven't even considered a goal in like 4 games. So that is very, very sad that it ended up that way. And at this point, you definitely are trying to keep it down, trying to keep the score down, not to concede 3 or 4 like we usually do against them. ESR came on for Odegaard, Pepe came on for Saka, and Kete came on for Lacazette. Martinelli did have a chance very late on. Could have capped off the game with a goal. I would have been so happy for Martinelli to get a goal after that performance, but unfortunately, it didn't work out, and it ended Liverpool 2, Arsenal 0. 4 games against them this season, we haven't scored. That is the only worry I have. We need to be scoring against them. Back in the day, we used to finish 4-4, 3-3 against Liverpool. Now we can't score against them. Maybe that is the only worry. United can say, I think, 5-0 at Old Trafford, and probably 5-0 at Anfield as well coming soon. Matthew says, feel like we should have gotten at least a point out of the result. Liverpool was up in the first half. Yeah, well, I should probably have taken a few chances. That I agree. We should have done better to capitalize. Feel like we were lacking in the final ball. Like if you say it like that, Matthew, it is fine. But the way I've seen some Arsenal fans, you see, like I told you, Arteta is not the guy. Like, what are you talking about? Because they lost to Liverpool. Like if it's something like what Matthew said on screen right now, that is fine. But if you start talking about Arteta doesn't know how to play against Liverpool, or you start talking about Ramsdale or Sean how to play against big teams today, that is a bit overreach. That is just trying to be relevant, unfortunately. So Martinelli once again destroyed Trent, says Tactical. Great win for Liverpool. Yeah, Ravi. Great win for them, 1 point behind Man City. Title race is on. Arteta makes the same 3 subs every game. Are you not becoming a bit too predictable? I think when you're winning, it's okay. Let me just check this squad again. The only changes he could make, because most of our players are usually midfielders and defenders anyway. Let's just check this bench. Obviously, you can't bring Leno. You can't bring Swanson. That is already 2 players out of the way. You can only bring Tavares, like if you're trying to, play a back 5 or something, you're 2-1 ahead, you can bring in the Tavares and Holding and take out someone else. El Neni, you can only bring El Neni if you're trying to defend. And as I said, I think Jacques and Partey will always be in that team for 90 minutes until the end of the season. As long as they're not suspended or injured, I think Jacques and Partey will always play. So I think we might only see El Neni for like 1 or 2 games this season. Smith Rowe will obviously be coming on, obviously for Martinelli or Saka, that's what we expect. Pep is obviously going to come on. And then maybe you could say maybe he doesn't have to bring on Katie, maybe he can bring on someone else. But I don't think we have that many options on the bench, Matthew, to bring. Like if you look at Liverpool, like he can't be predictable, because today he can bring on, if he has that bench every single day, today he can bring on Gomez in defense, Chamberlain and Firmino. Tomorrow he can bring Minamino, Salah and Jones. Tomorrow he can rest Thiago and play Keita. Like we don't have that luxury right now. Our first team is the team. As we said, we need our team to remain fit. That's why we always say that we need this team to remain fit, because this is our first team. If Saka and Martinelli get injured, we are screwed. We are so finished. So that's why we need this team to remain fit. So I don't have a problem with him making the same subs. I mean, it has worked against Wolves. It worked. Pepe came on and we won the game. So in that match, for example, it worked. Against Liverpool, and Holding came on and we defended a 0-0. It worked as well. So I think most of the times it has worked. I don't really have a problem with that. Tactical also says, who else are we gonna bring on? Lokonga, Swanson, our bench is bad. Yeah, our bench is not experienced enough. I think Lokonga and Tavares are players for next season. I think that's the only way. And if you have the likes of Tomiyasu back, if you have 2 or 3 more signings in the summer, then you can say you can bring on more signings. But apart from that, I don't think you can really bring on someone else anyway. In terms of stats overall, we do this. In terms of the stats overall, they had 51% possession. We had 49. We had 9 shots. They had 9. So very equal, I'd say. The other thing I want to add, the last 4 or 5 games we've played at the Emirates, we've had more than 20 shots, which I'm very happy about. At least we do attack teams these days. And we actually had 9 shots against Liverpool. On another day, we will probably have like 1 or 2 shots against Liverpool and City. That is usually what happens. But these days, at least, we usually do put teams under the attack. And they usually, after every game, I'm pretty sure the defenders usually feel like, you know what? I've just had Robertson talking right now. And he was talking about how Martinelli and Saka are always very great, like in terms of giving the defenders a game. Robertson knows. So if it's the other games where we are usually very quiet for like almost the entirety of the game, that's sad. But 9 shots to 9, we had 2 shots on target. They had 3 shots on target. I usually get sad with that, like when a team has 1 shot and then they beat you. 4 block shots each. They had 6 corner kicks. We had 1. 4 offsides to 2. Fouls, same. They picked up 1 yellow card, and we also didn't pick up a yellow card today. That is also another improvement. We usually pick up a lot of yellow cards in such games. And I think this is the second game I've seen from the last 3 where we finished without a card, which is good to see. 1 big chance each. So yeah, the first goal was a shocker for Ramsdale. It wasn't even a big chance. Shots inside the box, they had 7. We had 4 shots outside the box. We had more than them. Their goalkeeper had to make 2 saves. Ours had to make only 1 save. We had almost the same number of passes as them, almost the same in terms of accuracy in passes. Long balls, almost the same accuracy. Crosses, they had slightly better than us. Dribbles, we completed more dribbles than them, 88% more dribbles. In terms of accuracy, possession lost, that is crazy. We lost possession 147 times, and they lost possession 147 times. It's usually very rare to see it being that similar. Duels won, we won more. They won more aerial duels. We made more tackles. We made more clearances. They made more interceptions. So in terms of stats, they're not so much to choose from at all. So for me, in the player ratings, I'll give the players a very, very reasonable player ratings, I'd say. I don't think they performed badly at all. Ramsdale, yes, and maybe 1 or 2 more, but others, I think they did quite well. So definitely not sad about that. In terms of the table, obviously we've lost 1 game in hand. That's very realistic. I don't think many of us expected us to beat Liverpool. I was just hoping for a draw, really, just to be 2 points ahead of Manchester United. But obviously that is done. So next up is Aston Villa. Now we have to win that game. If we beat Aston Villa, then you quickly forget about the Liverpool game, because it will be how many points ahead of United? 4 points with still another game in hand. So I'd definitely be happy with that. Tottenham won today against Brighton. So they're 3 points behind us, and we still have a game in hand. So losing to Liverpool is okay, but there's a couple of games you can't lose. When you play against United at home, that one we cannot afford to. We play against Tottenham away, with a draw would be fine, but affording to lose, we definitely cannot afford to lose. If you beat United and you beat Tottenham, or you finish those games without losing, then you probably get top 4. So the only way we can be mad about losing today is if we were going for top 3 and you wanted to get closer to Chelsea, then you can get mad about losing to Liverpool. But apart from that, Liverpool have now scored 75 goals this season. They have the best goal difference in the league. They're 1 point behind Man City. I would not be surprised if they go to the Etihad and win the game at all. I'd not be surprised. So I'm not mad at all about that. Definitely not mad at all. So still 1 point ahead of United with 2 games in hand, but we have to win in the next game. We definitely have to win in the next game. So I'm going to put the link to the player ratings in the chat. I'm going to start it in the next 5 minutes. That's the link to the player ratings. I'll be live there with the player ratings. I'm definitely going to be very, very positive in the terms of player ratings. So yes, we lost, but I think we should quickly move on to that very important game against Aston Villa over the weekend. Not the worst of defeats, I'd say. Not very, very terrible. Yes, I'm obviously sad that we lost, but I'm not going to overreact about the way I've seen in everyone doing. So thank you for watching the match reaction. I'll be back with the player ratings very soon. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button and I'll catch up with you guys soon.